Welcome to the Witching Hour. It's time for a spoiler warning. Today I'll be explaining the chapter named The Edge of the World in the book The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. Many of these characters are also on IMDb, so there's a good chance that this story will be one of the ones that are told in the Netflix series. In this chapter, we are introduced to one of Geralt's good friends, Dandelion. He's a poet that enjoys the excesses of life, booze, and women. The two of them were traveling together and stopped in a town to see if there were any monsters for the Witcher to deal with. The townspeople gave him a laundry list of monsters, but he knew they weren't being honest because none of those monsters existed. After they left town, they came upon a beautiful stretch of land that bordered on perfection, but we all know nothing is perfect. They were stopped by a man that was following behind them in a cart. His name was Nedley. Dandelion referred to this beautiful place as the Edge of the World. The residents called it the Valley of Flowers. Elves used to live there, but many years before they moved into the mountains across the way. After eating, Geralt talked with the Elder Dune and decided to get down to business. The Elder told them that they had a diavel, or as we would call it, a devil, causing them problems. This wasn't just any devil, it was a devil that actually helped them out. Well, this is how he helps. He fertilizes the land, he turns the soil, he gets rid of the moles, scares birds away, watches over the turnips and beetroots. Oh, and he eats the caterpillars, he does. They as do hatch in the cabbages. But the cabbages, he eats them too, forsooth. Nothing but guzzle, but what he does, just like a diavel. Dandelion was finding great humor in the fact that these hayseeds believed that they had a devil helping them. They didn't like the mischief that he caused, but they didn't want him killed. Geralt agreed to take a look at the diavel to decide whether he would accept the job or not. When Dune and Netley left, Dandelion jumped up and asked Geralt, "I can't understand anything anymore. A day hasn't went by since our chat about imagined monsters, and you suddenly get yourself hired hunting devils. And everybody, except ignorant freemen obviously, know that devils are an invention. They're mythical creatures. What's this unexpected zeal of yours supposed to mean? Knowing you a little as I do, I take it you haven't abased yourself so as to get us a bed, board, and lodging, have you?" Geralt agreed that he did know him better than that. They debated it a few minutes longer and then retired for the night. The following morning they went out in search of the devil. Geralt went on to explain why the devil was smart. "It's a question of the special qualities of hemp. A field of this size emits a strong aura against magic. Most spells will be useless here. And there, look, do you see those poles? Those are hops. Their pollen has the same effect. It's not mere chance. The rascal senses the aura and knows he's safe here." Geralt had to explain to Dandelion that initially he wanted to go on a recon mission to learn more about this devil. Their conversation sounded like a tit for tat. Come to find out, the townsfolk were bringing the devil offerings. It was at this time they came face to face with the devil. The creature was about half a rod tall, with bulging eyes and a goat's horn and beard. The mouth, a soft, busy slit, also brought a chewing goat to mind. Its nether regions were covered with long, thick, dark red hair right down to the cleft hooves. The devil had a long tail ending in a brush-like tassel which wagged energetically. After an altercation, it was clear that the devil kicked Geralt and Dandelion's asses. They went back to the village with their tail between their legs, so to speak. Netley, Dune, an old woman, and a teenage girl all walked into the room. And Geralt started off by asking why the hell they didn't tell him that they had been giving this devil offerings. They explained that they did it because of a book they referenced as the Great Book. The teenage girl Lil handed the book to the Witcher after Dune asked her to. Geralt showed the book to Dandelion. He said, "The writing used before the modern alphabet, still based on elfin runes and dwarves' ideograms. A funny sentence structure, but that's how they spoke then. Interesting etchings and illuminations. It's not often you get to see something like this, Geralt, and if you do, it's in the libraries belonging to temples and not villages at the end of the world. By all the gods, where did you get that from, dear peasants? Surely you're not going to try and convince me that you can read this. Woman, can you read the first runes? Can you read any runes? They revealed that they knew what was written based on pictures, and that the old woman of the village takes on a young woman as something like an apprentice to teach her. It turns out the villagers took iron balls for the devil to eat so he would break his teeth, but instead, after just one, he used the rest to lob at the villagers. Geralt tried to question Lil, but Netley told him not to, basically because she's an odd duck that won't answer him. Lil looked up at Geralt, and it sent a shiver down his spine. It was then he knew the reason. They had not killed the devil was because she forbade it. During a heated conversation, the Witcher asked the elder why he held Lil's opinion in higher esteem than he did the Great Book. It turns out that the old woman is not teaching Lil, but Lil is telling the old woman what to say. Geralt asked who Lil was, and Netley answered, "But ye have guessed that, sir. A prophetess. A wise one. But say not this to anyone. We ask ye, if word were to get to the steward, or God forbid, to the viceroy." Geralt agreed to keep their confidence. The Witcher became curious about how Lil came to the village, but Dune said they did not know, but did tell them about the older woman. But as for the old woman, so the older folk remember, it be like this. The old woman afore her took a closed-tongued girl under her wing too, one as which came from no one knows. And that girl, she be our old woman. My grandfather would say that the old woman was reborn that way. Like the moon, she be reborn in the sky, and ever new she be. Do nae laugh? Geralt let them know that he could not kill a Sylvan because it was a rare, intelligent creature. They wanted him to go speak with the devil since he could understand and find out what he wants. The Witcher agreed to try. At this point, it was a question of his pay. Geralt went to see the Sylvan and try and reason with him, but the Sylvan, being the pain in the ass that he was, refused to listen to reason. He instead wanted competitions and riddles. They traded blows again in an effort for the Witcher to teach the Sylvan a lesson. He didn't succeed. When he woke up from having his ass handed to him again, he heard the Sylvan, who he had just found out was named Torque, and an elf named Galar, and he saw 6 other elves standing alongside of Galar. Geralt traded verbal jabs with an elf named Torville, which escalated quickly into physical violence. She used the fact that Geralt was tied up to her advantage and kicked him a couple times. At one point, the Witcher managed to get her down on the ground and headbutted her in the face. The other elves pulled him off by manhandling him. Torque became upset because he didn't want the elves to hurt Geralt and Dandelion. Geralt knew that the elves had to kill them because they couldn't leave any witnesses. The elf that seemed to be in charge let Geralt know exactly how he felt about humans and the fact that they had taken their land from them. He also identified himself as Filavandrel. He unleashed on Geralt about how humans have abused and mistreated the land. Yes, we are starving. Yes, we are threatened with annihilation. The sun shines differently, the air is different, water is not as it used to be. The things we used to eat, made use of, are dying, diminishing, deteriorating. We never cultivated the land. Unlike you humans, we never tore at it with hoes and plows. To you, the earth pays a bloody tribute. It bestowed gifts on us. You tear the earth's treasures from it by force. For us, the earth gave birth and blossomed because it loved us. Well, no love lasts forever, but we still want to survive. Geralt tried to convince him that they could trade with the humans, but he wasn't having any part of it. Geralt said, "The devil with you then, and your arrogance and contempt. By refusing to cohabit, you're condemning yourselves to annihilation. To cohabit, to come to an understanding, that's your only chance." This only seemed to infuriate Filavandrel more, which resulted in a back and forth between them. After several exchanges, it was time for Dandelion and Geralt to meet their end. The elves were all ready with bow and arrow in hand. Torque shielded them both with his body and pleaded for their lives. "I don't care what you can or can't. What do you imagine? You think I'll let you murder them? Here, on my land? Right next to my hamlet? You accursed idiots! Get out of here with your bows, or I'll ram you down. Ook! Ook!" Suddenly, Filavandrel instructed the elves to lower their bows. Lil arrived. She was no longer a skinny peasant girl in a sackcloth dress. Through the grasses covering the glade floated a queen, radiant, golden hair, fiery-eyed, ravishing, the queen of fields, decorated with garlands of flowers, ears of corn, bunches of herbs. At her left side, a young stag pattered on stiff legs. At her right rustled an enormous hedgehog. Without uttering a word, she told the elves to leave and assured Geralt that all was okay. In that moment, there was a sense of respect between the adversaries. When they were on their way back, they sat around the fire and read the story from the great book about the Queen of Fields. Her name was Lithia. If you'd like to see more content, please subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.